This week's Parsha is Parshat Shelach. Tomorrow in Shel we are going to read about the spies. That Moshe sent 12 spies to spy out the land of Israel, getting it ready for the arrival of the Jewish people. And unfortunately that event ended up in tragedy. The spies spoke lashon hara, they spoke evil about the land. Everybody cried that night. When they heard the report, they didn't want to go. They didn't want to go up to the land. And that night was the very first Tisha B'Av. And that was the night that was branded for all generations as a time of tragedy for the Jewish people. Who were these spies? The Torah tells us that they were tzaddikim in the beginning. They were great leaders, righteous people. But what did they see? What happened to them? That they gave such an evil report about the land of Israel and turned the Jewish people off and turned them away, removed from them their desire to go to the Holy Land. What went wrong? What did they see and what did they say? The Torah tells us that they reported to the Jewish people that they saw giants in the land, Anshei Midot, men of great measure, giants. Now the Jewish people knew they had Hashem on their side. Why would that scare them? And the answer is, when they say giants over here, it doesn't mean men of great stature physically. Anshei Midot can also mean men of good midas. Good midas. They were wonderful people, the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Hittites. They weren't terrible idolaters. They were good guys. They were nice guys. They were wonderful people. And that's what scared the Meraglim. That's what scared the spies. The trick of the Yetzer Hara. When the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, wants us to be bad and to follow evil, do you think anyone wants to follow a rotten, evil person? Definitely not. We want to follow a good guy who happens to be evil. The spies were worried that the Jewish people would be so influenced by the kindness, the sweetness, the goodness of the 7 nations that were currently in the land of Israel. And therefore, they decided, being great people of Torah and understanding Hashem, they made the decision themselves to try and put the Jewish people off by not letting them, not wanting them to go to the land of Israel. They were worried that the sweet attitudes, the sweet disposition of the people, of the inhabitants of the land of Israel would be too enticing for the Jewish people, and they would throw off the yoke of Torah and they would become assimilated to this new culture. And therefore, these men were indeed great. And therefore, they took it on themselves. They made their own cheshbon to try and dissuade the Jewish people from going to the land. Unfortunately, they were wrong. As good, as well-intentioned as they were, it was the will of Hashem that the Jewish people do go to the land of Israel and that they deal with the Canaanites and the other 6 nations in the way that Hashem would command Joshua later on in the Torah and in the Tanakh. And that was the will of Hashem. They tried with good intention to go against the will of Hashem, and that is indeed where they failed. In our lives as well, we have the Torah. Torah means instruction. Torah is hora'ah. Torah teaches us how to live our lives. Sometimes we think we know a little bit better. Sometimes we think we know the right path. But if it is not based in Torah, as well-intentioned as we are, we might be wrong. Shabbat Shalom.